News Talk 580, KMJ. Chris Daniel here with you till 6. Whether or not you live in Tulare County District 4, I think you're going to want to pay attention. There's a runoff election happening on November 2nd for District 4 County Supervisor in Tulare County. And it's gotten kind of heated. Two people, Steve Worthley and Brian Rouch, are pretty much District 4 Supervisor. Brian Rouch. Hi, Brian.
Thank you, Chris. How are you doing?
Brian, I need to apologize first for mispronouncing your name about 6 times.
That's not a problem. In fact, if somebody gets it right, I begin to wonder.
Yeah, I'm a guy who people always put an S on the end of my name, so I don't know your world where you shave off letters that you have.
Yeah, understandable, not a problem.
I'd like to
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. I'd like to give you as much of the same format as we gave Mr. Worthley, to be fair. Are there things that you'd like to say? Do you have an opening statement you'd like to make?
Well, yeah. I've been on the campaign trail now for about a year and a half, and it's been an incredible experience. As most of the voters know, I've never run for office before. I've never been in politics, and I come from a small business family that started farming here in just outside of Dinuba in 1853. I'm sixth generation Tulare County, and the voters are looking for a change from these career politicians that we currently have.
Do you think, Brian, that being sixth generation sort of negates the accusation being made that you moved into a rental house in Dinuba so you can be in District 4 to run?
No, I don't think it does at all. But I don't want to be too hard on my opponent here. I feel sorry for him in a lot of ways, but this reminds me of the Reagan quote where he said, "It's not that my opponent's stupid; it's just that everything he knows just ain't so." And my opponent just made the comment that Ivanhoe is not in the 4th district, and I want to send a shout out to the folks in Ivanhoe because they are in the 4th district. I'm the one who's been knocking on doors down there and going to the Lions Club meetings and spending time with them. And so, my opponent has been out of touch, and his comment that Ivanhoe is not in the 4th district is evidence to that matter.
Okay, Brian Rao is our guest, running for District 4. If you want to talk to him, it's 490-5858. We'll have until the top of the hour. We've got to talk about this. You were once registered a Republican. You flipped to Green, then Democrat, and have been, I believe, registered Democrat up to beginning this campaign, and now you are declined to state.
Yeah, and like I said, my family's a small business family, and I was raised in an extremely conservative family. And when you own your own money and have to pay for your own things, and I'd like to throw out here, my opponent, for example, doesn't pay for his own car. The county pays for his car for him, and then he charges the taxpayers 58 cents a mile to drive it from his own home to his office, home to church, home to Rotary Club. And you can look on my opponent's forums down at the elections office to see this. The Times Delta has all this as well. My point is this. I grew up in a small business family, and I'm a fiscal conservative. And those are the values that I was raised in. I'm sixth generation Tulare County, and I know what it means to earn money and to spend your own money. And in my opinion, neither political party has been the best stewards of our tax dollars. And I don't think there's any accident that independents are the fastest growing party, especially for younger people. I'm 32. And I'm part of the next generation of leaders, and a lot of people my age are tired of the mismanagement of our tax money by both parties.
Yeah, you were a registered Democrat for almost 6 years. What put you off to the Democratic Party?
Both
specifically,
parties, I think both parties have mismanaged budgets.
All right, fair enough.
Tax and spend is the wrong policy, in my opinion.
Were you ever a member of the Sierra Club?
Never been a member of the Sierra Club. Look, let me say.
Even in Concord, New Hampshire?
Never.
Okay.
Let me say one thing to start off here. My opponent has been in this race has been in office for 12 years,
yes.
And he has failed, and he has nothing tangible to show for it. And you don't have to take my word for it. The former supervisor of the district, Leroy Sweeney, has endorsed me, and there's a reason why he's backing me. He at one time did support Steve, and this 12-year incumbent hasn't accomplished anything. So he's trying to get us off the real issues of improving our county and focus on made-up issues. Let me tell you a quick story here, Chris. Back in the 50s, my family tried to develop a ski resort, an alpine resort community in the Tulare County mountains. And it was actually the Sierra Club that convinced the board of the Tulare County Board of Supervisors at that time to not permit that project. So it's unconscionable and amazing that my opponent has the audacity to say that I'd be a member of an organization that has cost my family, like so many farmers in this district, millions of dollars. Let me say one other thing. My family has personally sold millions of board feet of lumber to Sierra Forest Products. My dad is friends with the owners of that company. Mm-hmm. And, you know, my opponent is a lawyer. He's been a lawyer for decades, and he talks like a lawyer, and that's really what this comes down to.
Okay, I'm going to just ask you flat out then. I'm looking at this right now, and I don't know where it comes from, but I'm sure you know that there is a resume out there with your name at the top of it. And it's got you with experience with the California Wilderness Coalition, the Sierra Club, campaigning for John Kerry for president, and the California Wilderness Coalition again back in Davis and Oakland. What would you say about that?
Well, these are secret documents. You know, I've actually told Steve on multiple occasions that the things he's saying about me aren't true. And like I said, he doesn't want to focus on the issues, because as soon as this race gets on the issues, the voters are going to begin to see in clear daylight his failures. You know, the issues in this race, Chris, are jobs first and foremost. The unemployment rate in Dinuba is 23.2%. There's no mistake. There's a reason for that, and here's the reason. My opponent has been running the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District, also known as the Air Board, mm-hmm. for 10 years. The Air Board is so hard on our family farmers and our family businesses that these guys are leaving. The second biggest manufacturer in the 4th District is in the process of moving their operations out of the county because of the Air Board that Steve runs.
Who is that, by the way?
It's not public yet, so it's
okay.
out of my place to announce that.
All right. I tell you what, I want to take a couple calls and ask you a couple more things. I need to go to a break. I'm going to go just about 30 seconds early, if you don't mind. Okay, I'll be right back with you. Brian Rouch, candidate for District 4 Supervisor.
News Talk 580 KMJ.
I'm Juliana McCannis, sitting in for Clifford Baines, who freaked out, took a Xanax, and then fell asleep.
Chris Daniel.
5:52 at News Talk 580 KMJ. Chris here till 6. Then the debate comes to you live from UC Davis with Whitman and Brown. And we're on with District 4 Supervisor candidate Brian Rouch. Brian, thanks for sticking around. When you're campaigning and shaking hands with people, is it a stumbling block? Is it a speed bump for you with this decline to state a party? People love to label people? Yeah, no,
it's not an issue at all. In fact, the most common thing I hear from people is that they're thinking about, or they have re-registered themselves. And, there is broad dissatisfaction right now with the political machinery and career politicians of this country. Here's what I do hear from people when I knock on doors. I hear people talking about jobs. We need jobs. We need a general plan that supports job development in this county.